Hey everybody, welcome to Klaus to the Heart here on YouTube.com. I am Jason Klaus. We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch this episode. I'm very excited about this episode for a number of different reasons. I'm going to introduce you to some very special people, in at least in my book. Just fantastic people. They are what I refer to as the first family of Fremont in Indiana. Drew and Amber Kuespert, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on here.
We really appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So we're going to do a little bit of a backstory for the viewers. I met Drew through social media. He and the church that he is affiliated with, we'll get to them here in a little bit, were interested in bringing the MWO into Indiana for a live event. And we were able to make that happen. It was actually the Slamathon event that we did last June. And Drew, you and I have talked about this on the phone. And to this day, when we look back on 2019, for the majority of our roster in the MWO, the Fremont show was the highlight of the entire year, beating out WrestleRama and all of these other big events that we did. It was Fremont that really stood out. And for me personally, as a promoter and as a person, it was exciting. It was nerve-wracking because it was our first time out of state, but we made it happen, and it seemed like for all intents and purposes, it seemed to be well received. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. And to just kind of tell a little bit more about the story, it was, oh my gosh, 8 or 9, 10 years ago, something like that, that John Bruni and I were up in Davison, Michigan, and we were celebrating Memorial Day with his family up there. We were up there, and we really enjoyed it. And we were just out and about, and we went over and saw the MWO wrestling over off of Dort Avenue, I think is what it was called. And we just thought, well, this is so cool. And we wanted to have, we always thought about coming up and seeing you. And for whatever reason, just things never seemed to work out. And then we were just chit-chatting a year ago, or a year and a half ago, about doing a sermon series called Wrestling with Your Faith. And the idea was brought up that, let's see if we can get the MWO to come down to Fremont. And that's when we touched base with you, and the rest is history. And 2019's Slamathon was awesome. I mean, it really was. And we know that once you guys come back, it's going to be double, triple, quadruple great from what it was then. And we were so thrilled. People are still talking about it in the community at our church. They just absolutely loved it. They loved the fact that everyone who came down as part of the MWO represented the MWO the way that it should have been represented, because we talk a lot. We have very strong pride in being a Fremont Eagle. That's what we talk about. That's our mascot, Fremont Eagles. We talk constantly, the adults, the kids, everyone in the community, about doing things the Eagle way, being the Fremont Eagle. And we felt like the MWO is doing things the Eagle way. And it really worked out great. I mean, people still talk about it. I got kids coming up to me at church asking when you're coming back. So
Right.
We're excited about that. It was awesome.
Yeah, we certainly are very excited to make our return there. We were supposed to do it at the end of June as part of the Music Fest. Unfortunately, I just recorded this week's podcast, and I mentioned it on there. And because of the coronavirus and everything, that event has been canceled. But we are hoping to be able to come back for a back to school bash type of thing.
So we're going to be trying to put something like that together. So I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying, we're going to really work hard to try to put something like that together. Hopefully all the ducks are in a row, and that the government officials will allow things to happen, and we can put something like that together, because that would be a really good launch point for our 2020 2020 and 2021 school year.
Right. Speaking of the coronavirus, I
Mm.
mean, it's all over everywhere. I mean, you cannot turn on the TV, the radio, go on social media without something being posted or commented on in terms of this pandemic.
Right.
This is one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring you on the show, because Drew, you are a school teacher in Fremont. And I've heard various tales and stories from other people in other genres. I've heard firsthand accounts of what happens with healthcare workers. My wife is a health, she's in the health industry, but she's not in the hospital. So that's good for us. But I've talked to people who are on the front lines, doctors, nurses. Our neighbors are nurses here in Flint. But I'm curious, because I haven't had the opportunity to sit down with people who are in education and the different challenges that this whole thing has brought upon everybody. Now, here in Michigan, you guys are in Indiana. Here in Michigan, every school across the state is closed. Is that how it is with you guys?
Yeah, so our governor came out about a week or two after Governor Whitmer came out, and Governor Holcomb had said the same thing, closed down all the schools in Indiana. And I believe every school in Indiana is doing some form of either strictly e-learning, that's what we're doing, or some are doing hybrid learning where they're doing like some e-learning and some paper pencil stuff. So it's absolutely been a challenge, that's for sure.
What grade do you teach?
I teach 7th and 8th grade social studies. I have about 140 students, and between the two grades, and I have two sets of lessons to plan for each day with the e-learning.
So you're doing everything online?
Yes, we're doing it all online. We use an LMS, which is a learning management system called Canvas, and Canvas allows us an opportunity to post assignments, video clips, quizzes, tests. It allows us to. It's got a lot of different things that we can do with it. Lots of bells and whistles, and I'm still learning them all myself. But it's something that the kids, being technology oriented as they are, most of them are easily adaptable to this process. The ones that struggle a little bit more are the teachers and the parents. A little bit more of a learning curve than the kids have. But so far things have gone really well. They've exceeded our expectations. Students are overwhelmingly catching up on their work, doing their assignments, asking questions through email. I'm answering about 200 to 300 emails a day on average.
All day.
All day.
During school hours.
Yeah, sometimes I try to put it aside about 3-4 o'clock and get back to it here and there. But and if I don't get back to it, sometimes I get enough emails by 7-8 o'clock at night. If I don't check it, I'll have so many in the morning. It's like trying to really hard to catch up on. But we do some kind of live chats from time to time. We use Zoom, which is kind of like Skype, from time to time. We use another one right through Canvas as well. But I try to touch base with the kids personally at least once a week through online learning or online chats like conferences. Just get questions answered, give them some news and notes, and frankly, sometimes just say, hey, for the next 10 minutes, let's just chit chat. What's going on? Let's just chit chat, talk. What are you thinking? And the kids really like that. It's amazing. I've actually had the kids that sometimes struggle the most in school, the ones that say how they don't like school and right? They're the ones that have come out mostly and said stuff like, boy, I miss school. I miss, my friends. I miss my teachers. And that tells us a lot, that public education is so vital and so important. We don't take for granted what we have done, and we look forward to getting back in the classroom. We're chomping at the bit, that's for sure, to get back in the classroom as soon as possible, whether that's we get to start in August or if it's even later. But the great thing about our teachers, especially here at Fremont, is they have done everything in their power to make this as seamless a transition as possible, and they've taken a lot of extra work on their shoulders to make sure that they provide a quality education to the students of our district.
I have two things I want to mention
Sure.
also. But with Ellie in high school, they do daily conferences, all of her classes every day. They have a video class instruction through her Canvas. And also, we were not an e-learning school before this.
That's true.
So they literally, the teachers, the administration, everybody in this corporation put this together in like 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to see how much work and effort and love that these guys have put into, keeping our kids educated.
Yeah, we were supposed to have about an 18-month period into e-learning, and really that transition was designed for us to have, for a snow day here and there, or even if we had a full week off of school because of, feet of snow on the ground or something like that. Not really designed for this, and then for, the teachers, again, to put this together, like Amber said, in just a very, very short amount of time. The superintendent himself, Dr. William Stitt, has said that we've all exceeded his expectations for this process. So kudos to all the teachers in Fremont. We're so proud. And we know so many other teachers, not just in our district, but throughout Indiana and Michigan, certainly deserve so many kudos as well, because this has been a monumentous task, and they've done such a great job with it.
Absolutely. And a lot of what you said is mirroring what we are experiencing with our school district. My son is in 5th grade and my daughter is in 1st. So we're kind of tackling two separate periods of time, right?
Right.
I mean, my wife, bless her heart, has kind of assumed the teacher role here. I'm not good at math where she is, but we complement one another.
Yeah.
What her expertise is, I am so far on the opposite end of that spectrum, but I'm good with English and history and all that stuff, right? So it sounds like, for the most part, everybody is pretty much on the same page and dealing with this unprecedented time and trying to adjust on the fly. I can't imagine how difficult, Drew, as a teacher for you, it is to come up with so many different ways of approaching that day's content while keeping people invested in it, because when you're home, you're more relaxed. You don't have that aura of a school around you. You're in your own space, right? So what do you do, and is it a challenge, I guess, to come up with different ways to present your teachings for that day and keep these your kids in tune and invested?
Yeah, so let me answer it this way. Let me kind of give you a scenario. Imagine you or I or anyone watching or listening right now was back to 13 years old, and imagine suddenly you've been told that you're going to go home now for 9 weeks early from summer break, and oh, by the way, here's a computer. We want you to do all your education, all your online here, and yeah, oh, by the way, mom and dad still have a job and may not be home all the time. So you're going to have this computer in front of you. You're going to be 13 years old. You're going to be weighing the option. Am I going to do my homework today, or am I going to play video games, or am I going to watch Netflix, or am I going to text my buddies and friends and Snapchat and Instagram and all that stuff? I mean, the task is very difficult to try to get kids to understand that they have to take ownership of their own education. It's tough enough as a 7th and 8th grader, and the kids get younger, especially in a middle school level, 5th grade, 6th grade level, it's got to be even much more challenging than that. It's challenging enough for my daughter. She was working on an assignment today. I'm kind of calling her out on this, and she was texting while her teacher was instructing. I said, "Put your phone down, young lady," but I was there to do that. And so many other parents don't have that luxury to be there to do that. And so it's really difficult for the kids too, because it's so tempting to try to do other things, or you have all this extra stimuli at home. Whereas when you're sitting at a desk at a next to your friends and in front of a teacher in a school setting, you're zoned in for the most part. You're zoned into what you're supposed to be doing. So one of the things now to answer your question, I guess, one of the things that I've really tried to do is to incentivize kids to come to my page and to their e-learning, the Canvas system. So getting online, checking in with things. So one of the ways that I've done that is tried to encourage them with extra credit or challenges. I set up my own Instagram page, and I also add the videos that I post there to the Canvas page as well. I do goofy little challenges from time to time just to get them focused and in. Today's challenge, for example, was, as you can see, my hair is really, really long and it needs to be cut. It's several weeks overdue, just like many other people are. And so the thing is that so I had the hair challenge today. I said, show me your best bed head. Give me, you can style it up if you want to, but you don't have to. Just take some pictures and I'll share the top 10 pictures with everybody. Just some goofy stuff like that. I got kids that are logging on, haven't given me an assignment in 2 or 3 days, and they see that and they get on, they want to participate, and so that's motivated them to at least check in. Not only that, but I get an opportunity then to say, hey, I noticed you were on today. Did you get any assignments done? Oh, yeah, I'll work on that. It's a dialogue opener, I guess you'd say. So sometimes, especially with moms and dads still having to work, still having to go off for their jobs, my job then is to kind of be a surrogate online parent, to try to encourage these kids to take that extra step and be their own best advocate. But boy, I'll tell you what, if I'm 13 years old and I'm in their shoes and I have all that extraneous stimuli around, for me it was Legos, but for them it's Instagram, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm not sure I'd be doing it too. For our kids to do to the level of what they've done, I'm pretty impressed. Still got a long way to go, but very impressed.
It's pretty, not everybody goes through those links with the challenges and the extra credit. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about you is your outlook and the way you tackle things. Like, I picked up on that real early while we were working on bringing us to Fremont. Just, you have such a unique and such an uplifting presence about you.
Well, thank
you. I've seen other videos and things that you've done, and I thought, man, there needs to be more Drews in the world. And I don't know if Amber will back me up on that.
I'm not sure. There's times where she would disagree with that statement, but I appreciate you saying that now, honey.
We've weathered this shelter at home pretty well.
Oh, yeah, we have. And we've done a lot of things together. I mean, that's the thing. You're talking about creativity. I mean, one of the things I really appreciate about my wife is, she wanted to jump right in and do, Kuesperts Corona cooking. So we get on and she does recipes, and I'll let her talk about that in a little bit. But I just think that's so cool when people get like-minded and want to do things. I'm a doer. I like to do things. I like to be busy. But I feel like if I can bring some enjoyment or some positivity into the world somehow, even on a goofy little level, and if I have to embarrass the pants off myself a little bit, not literally,
and your family
and my family, it's worth it.
Well, that kind of takes me into the second part of this conversation that I want to have with you guys, because we're friends on the Facebook, and I see your different posts, and it got me to thinking, what kind of different things are you guys doing to occupy your time? Obviously, Drew, when you're working from home in the way that you are, I can imagine, answering the emails and everything that goes along with the actual instruction.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine, there's a whole lot of downtime, but, I'm sure that there's enough where you guys have to come up with creative ideas to enjoy one another and to enjoy what you're doing. And Amber, you actually inspired my family. Right at the start of this thing, you had posted something about buying paint brushes, canvases, this type of thing.
Yeah.
And I had said something to Carrie about it, and the next day, no joke, she come home with bags from Michael's with canvases and paints and things like that. So, we've been doing, I'm no Picasso, but
I've seen your paintings.
We saw it, yeah. It's awesome.
we are enjoying ourselves in ways that we probably wouldn't have had the time to do had we not been placed in this stay-at-home order, right? So you try to look for the silver lining in things, and you guys seem like such a tight family, with your daughter. I see all your trips to Chicago. I actually wore my Wrigley Field t-shirt.
There you go.
Guys today. So what other ideas, what other things are you guys doing to enjoy one another and to occupy all this extra time?
Well, I'll start with, there is not really that much extra time with this one. Okay. Not only, with the extra time with preparing lessons and the teaching, he's also doing podcasts with John Bruni. So they social distance, do everything properly, but he's going in and doing podcasts with editing, and then he's also doing the live recording for Sunday service. So he's keeping himself pretty busy. But when we do have time, we do the cooking videos. We haven't done any because with all the technical stuff that Drew does, his computer is not working properly. So
getting it fixed, but it'll be soon.
It takes forever to get anything done. So we just haven't put the cooking videos to the side for now. Painting, which is something that Ellie and I have always done. We're creative people. So we've always done the painting, but we stocked up and we've made Drew join us a few times, and you actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, they said, in fact, it was kind of encouraged in this fashion. Drew, you're painting with us tonight. Oh, okay. Well,
and it has to be a Chicago themed painting. So we all did something from Chicago that we missed because, as you mentioned, we love to go there. It's one of our favorite cities to visit. So we all sat together one night and painted something that we enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Detroit Rock City, but hey, we love Chicago too, so that's for sure. But
no,
go ahead.
We do too. We've been there several times, and if we're planning not like a real expansive trip like going to Alaska or something like that, or to Florida, Chicago is a destination where my son and I are big Cubs fans. Not so much the White Sox, but the Cubs we support, and just the architecture throughout the city, and the history, and I'm a big history guy, so I have a great appreciation for the city of Chicago. Now, when we paint, it's just whatever we're feeling, at that point. To have a theme, that's kind of cool because you're forcing yourself to, think about it, not just grab, like my daughter will just grab a paintbrush and just, slap a bunch of paint on there and tell me it's a mountain range. You know what I mean? Not a speck of green on it, but that's neither here nor there. But
I guess for me, the attitude I have is that let's put it this way: since the whole Corona thing has started, there's plenty of people out there that will talk about what they don't have. What I don't have is this. What I can't do is that. So we already know those things. Those are things we all know. We're very aware of those things. So the question is, and kind of the way I try to live my life and the way we try to live our lives at home as well, is, well, what can we do? So what are the things we can do? What are the things that we have access to? So let's life has handed us lemons, so let's sing karaoke. That's kind of the way we do
it. In costume as well.
In costume too. Yeah. And I got some coming through Amazon, so I'm really excited about that.
Oh, cannot wait.
You what?
Oh yeah.
Oh no!
Look at that breaking news here on Klaus.
Breaking news.
I can't abuse him now.
You guys have a 16-year-old daughter.
Yes, we do.
Ellie. What kind of challenge has it been? She's a teenager. She's right at that point in life where she's figuring out who she is. Probably has her own opinions, strong ones. How do you guys kind of balance that? Keep her from going insane, not being able to do what normal teenagers would like to do.
I don't think we're very successful with that.
Well, I mean, she is obviously, was going through all the stages of emotion like everybody else as everything was shutting down. School is something she loves, the social aspect, the education, all of it. So she went through the grieving process when school was closed and wasn't going to be around, be able to be around her friends. She's also very much into theater, and they were supposed to have a musical last weekend. Mm-hmm. And of course, that got botched, and prom was supposed to be this weekend, and she can't do that. So we pretty much just threw our hands up and said, okay, whatever you need to do. So she spends a lot of time FaceTiming with her friends, which is, I mean, technology has made this a lot easier. I can't imagine back when I was a teenager, when you had to have the corded dial phone, to be able to interact with people. So she FaceTimes. She spends a lot of time on Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch. I don't understand the game that much, but she loves it. She got into Minecraft. She paints a lot also. She just will suddenly whip out something and paint a gift for one of her friends to give them. And we talk, and she's mature, and she's a smart kid, so we communicate things, and she understands more than I think a lot of her peers do about why we as a family are really being careful with our social distancing, because she knows with my health issues that it's more important for her to keep me safe than it might be for a friend of hers that lives in a house that doesn't have someone with a compromised immune system.
That was actually going to be we're going to use that right now as the segue into this next part, because that's something that I do want to talk about for a number of reasons. I don't know if it's happening where you guys are at, but I mean, today there was another protest at our state capitol in Lansing. And this is the second or third one of major significance. People are out there without any kind of masks on their face. They're not observing the social distancing. They're shoulder to shoulder in some cases. And when I see this, now, in my opinion, the stay-at-home order and the social distancing, these numbers that are coming in from world-renowned doctors and experts and things of this nature are telling us that these practices are working in slowing this thing down. We're not going to wake up one day and it's just going to be gone. Right. That just isn't going to happen. Mm-hmm. But as I was watching the news today, and I'm seeing yet another protest, and that's when I decided I was going to record a bonus episode for the podcast, because I was that fired up about it. And Amber, you're one of the ones that I think about, because you do have a compromised immune system. You had a kidney transplant. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you are a beacon of so much strength, because I've read your posts and I kind of know a little bit of the background of your story, because we've had conversations through text about it. Mm-hmm. And I get so angry about this, because in my opinion that people are not taking this thing seriously. They think that they are immune to this thing and that it only attacks old people, and if they die, so be it. And that could not be further from the truth. People from all walks of life, all age groups are affected by this thing, can be affected by this thing, and can subsequently die if it goes to that far end of that spectrum. So, I mean, Amber, with you having had a major surgery, the transplant and everything, I mean, do you go outside do you go into stores at all at this point? You just play it safe and stay home and let Drew do it? Because that's how we do it. My wife goes out and does the shopping. I stay home.
I will maybe go out once a week for a quick run to like maybe Dollar General, but I am very conscious of the 6 foot rule. Other people are not, but I remove myself from situations so that I make sure I am 6 feet away from people. But I limit it to Fremont. I will not go anywhere outside of Fremont. So when we need groceries, Drew goes to wherever he wants to go to get all the things on my list that I've written because I've been home all day and for weeks and weeks. So I've got all things. Send him on a goose chase
Wild
for
goose
things.
chase, yeah.
I am careful, and I am aware that other people aren't. So it's my responsibility to make sure that if I want to stay healthy, I stay home or I keep away from other people. I can't make anybody do anything. So, I'm going to do what I can. Ellie has not, I don't think she's left the house other than a couple times where we've went for walks.
Mm-hmm.
And we have done some social distance drop-offs for people, but she has not been in any kind of building since this started.
Yeah, so I do all the shopping as she mentioned. I'm like I mentioned a moment ago. I'm kind of a doer. I just gotta get out, and I understand the frustration that people have of sitting in the 4 walls all the time, especially with this thing hitting at the tail end of winter, where they've already experienced cabin fever for 3-4 months, and now we got to extend that another month or 2 or 3, and I totally get it, but at the same time, what people don't realize is that they can be jeopardizing the health of other people and themselves by not taking these kinds of precautions. So, when I go out, I do the same thing. She always, before I leave the house, you make sure you social distance. You make sure you stay away. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. And I do. And I make sure that I stay away from people. When I do shopping, it's go in, get the stuff we need, and get out. I don't linger. When we do have to get out of the house just because we're just going stir crazy, sometimes you just got to get some fresh air. Luckily, we have a park nearby that has a nice paved path. Walk through that, but if there's anybody coming the opposite direction, we make sure we give our distance and things of that nature. So, we're very aware, especially with her health condition. It's extremely, extremely important that anyone with a compromised immune system, it can happen so fast. In fact, even people without a compromised immune system, our principal right here at Fremont Middle School got COVID-19 and was on life support. He was on ventilators for over a week. He was on life support, battled through. He is back. He lost 25 or 35 pounds, I think it was. He was on the edge of death.
And he's healthy.
And he was a healthy man. So the fact is that this can affect anyone, like you mentioned. It can affect anybody. So for anyone who thinks that it can't, or it only affects, like you said, only affects certain populations, that is so far from the truth. I totally agree with that.
And I want to add in specifically, because a lot of people don't understand with the compromised immune system and the transplant. My biggest issue with why I'm particular about social distancing is, obviously I don't want to get COVID and go through all of that, but the issue with me specifically is if I do get COVID and I am hospitalized, the first thing they're going to do is take me off of my immunosuppressant medication. And that medicine is what keeps my body from attacking the donated kidney. So I have to take this medicine 4 times a day, every day for the rest of my life so that I can keep this kidney. So if they take me off that medicine, I go, not only am I in danger with the COVID illness, now I'm also in danger of losing my kidney. So it's a big deal to me. I don't want to lose my kidney. I don't want to get COVID either, but to me, it's more about my kidney's health and safety. So it's not just, willy-nilly, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even think about all that part of it.
Right.
And that's something that these people that are protesting, that are, storming the Capitol buildings and all this, they don't take that into consideration at all. They're there to make a stand. Well, great.
And to be fair, unless you know somebody who's had a transplant, there's just a lot of things people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know. And that's part of the reason why of every obstacle that Drew and I have been through, in our almost 19 years of marriage, why we try to advocate to teach people different things, whether it's, my transplant, whether it's, Ellie's prematurity, whether it's whatever, with my liver, we talk about it so people know, because that's the only way they're going to know is if they hear.
Yeah. And with the protesters at the Capitol, I'm upset. I don't think they should be doing those kinds of things. I think that's my personal opinion. I have to admit, I was one of those people, 5-6 weeks ago that was saying this thing was blown out of proportion. I was on that train. And so I understand where this is coming from, and I can understand the frustration that people have. But I just don't think that's the way to go about it. I think there's other ways to quote unquote protest without putting yourself and the lives of other people in danger. There's other ways, I guess, and I don't know really what those are, but there's creative ways. People do all kinds of different things, and I think the way they're going about that is pretty foolhardy, and that's just my personal opinion.
I could not agree more. And I was saying essentially the same thing that you just did. I just used a different language for it. But we're gonna keep this a family show.
That's right.
Drew.
Yeah.
Zion Missionary Church.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have obviously, you're not able to do your regular services in your traditional building. Here in Michigan, a lot of the surrounding churches are going to Facebook Live to do their sermons and their services and things of this nature. Are you guys doing the same thing through Facebook? What kind of different things are you guys doing to get the word out to your community?
Yeah. So what we do is we have a great core of people, a phenomenal team of people that are working together to put together a service every Sunday. It's a drive-in service. And so I don't know whose idea that was at our particular church, but whoever had that idea of the great people that we have, it was a good one. And so we follow certain state orders and state guidelines. We actually have a team of ushers and security folks that help get cars in and parked in a certain way, in a certain order, a certain distance away. I think they have to be I think it's 9 feet apart or something of that nature. They have to keep their windows rolled up. And we actually the church bought an FM transmitter, a shortwave FM transmitter, and they broadcast the service through FM radio. And it's kind of like going to the old drive-in movie theater.
That is fantastic.
It is so cool. So they brought the way our church is set up is the church is kind of on a hill, and then down below is the parking lot that goes around about a third of the way around the church, and people will park, and it almost is a perfect setup just like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was built for that purpose. So people sit their cars and they can look up. It's like the pastor's up on stage because they actually put a trailer back there and built him a little stage on the trailer, and he has his pulpit up there and his Bible. And so then I'll set up the video camera, and we'll wire stuff to the Wi-Fi and everything, and we'll connect it, and then I'll put it up on Facebook Live, and then the people that are there can listen over the radio to the sermon. And what's really cool is when the preacher says, when Pastor John says, and does anybody can I get an amen out there? And everybody honks their horn. It's really pretty cool. And we did it for Easter service because we wanted to do something special. It went so well that people were saying, can we just do this every Sunday? This is great. And I don't know. I have the feeling that even when the whole Corona episode dissipates, I have the feeling that from time to time we're going to go back and do this as somewhat of a revival type service, because it's so been well received and it's just different. And
And you can wear your pajamas to church. I like that.
You can wear your pajamas to church. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's pretty fun, and the team of people that have been behind this: Joe Lynn Thomas, John Bruni, Fred Weiss, Amy Bruni, Heather Weiss. There are just so many people that have been part of the process of putting this together. They've done an awesome job, just an awesome job with this.
I saw. I don't know if it was a live video or if it was one that was like on demand or whatever. But I had seen. I don't know if it was a screenshot or what. But I had seen something about you guys being outdoors. I thought, man, that is really cool. But I didn't realize it was to the level of what you just did.
Mm-hmm.
What you just said. So, man, that Fremont. It seems like it's such a cool community that everybody genuinely cares for one another.
Mhm.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, the thing is that, overall, the people here are genuine. They're kind. If someone has a problem, people rally. We just had the unfortunate situation of someone who found out that they were going to have to move very quickly. This is just today. And they had asked around, and they got at least a dozen or two people rallying around them, help them find a place that they get to move into tomorrow. That doesn't happen anywhere, and we feel really blessed to be a part of the Fremont community with that kind of stuff. And that's just one example. We kind of adopted the motto. I mentioned him a moment ago. Greg Moeller is our principal. He's the one that suffered through COVID, and he's making a great recovery, making great strides coming back. But his motto has always been to work hard and play hard, and we try to do that here. And sometimes we might not have the best record on the football field every year, but we certainly have the best record with the fans and the community and the connections. And we can't ask for anything more. I came from Mishawaka, South Bend, Mishawaka area growing up, and I lived in the suburbs and went to Penn High School and really enjoyed my experience. But it's different when you're at a high school with I'm trying to think here. We had 607 in my graduating class. That's just one grade, and our whole corporation here in Fremont has 1,000 kids. So I mean, we are very tight knit. News travels faster here than Facebook. Let me just say.
Can imagine. I
Yeah.
can imagine. But I mean, that's very cool that you're in a community where you have that kind of support and everything, and that's the feeling that we got when we came in there last June. We were only there for a day, but it was just a tremendous experience. Listen, as we wrap up this episode, there are a couple of things I want to say. First of all, thanks for taking time out of your day for being on the show. I certainly appreciate it. The reason why I'm slowly but surely trying to get things back on track, and it was a conscious effort that my first show back on YouTube, I really wanted it to be with you guys. And truth be told, I was willing to wait however long until we got our schedules, in alignment. In trying times, we seek out those who we know are going to be there for us, who are going to be there to lend a helping hand, not necessarily physically, but emotionally, spiritually, in some cases. And I knew that getting back on track after my brother passed away here a few weeks ago, I knew that was going to be extremely difficult. But I also knew that my first show back on YouTube, I wanted it to be with you guys for this reason.
Thank you.
No, man, thank you, because when everything happened on that day, a lot of it is a blur, but there are like snapshots throughout the day that stand out. And the one thing that it was one of the first things that stood out to me was I had gotten a message from you, Drew, and it it meant so much to me. You know, you're in another state. You got your own thing happening, and you thought enough of us to take time out to send that message, and it just solidifies my feelings of what amazing people you two are. And you have always been supportive since we came in contact with one another. And I just wanted to have a chance to actually look at you guys, even though it's through a camera, but actually actually look at you guys and say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and how much I truly appreciate our friendship.
Well, absolutely. We're so thankful that you said that, and we feel absolutely blessed to have that relationship as well. And like you said, it hasn't been very long, but the thing is that there's definitely a connection there, and you and the people that you associate with are such great people. They're just such phenomenal people, and that's what it's all about. Just trying to connect with one another. And sometimes in this world, it's real easy to get on social media and bash somebody else who you don't even know, and that's super easy. And when you take time out to find the human side in people and just try to understand them, and that's why I really appreciate your podcast, because you do a great job of trying to go in and dig deeper and find people and bring out who they are. The fact that you ask such great questions and talked about us and wanted to know more, and I think that kind of opens people up. Not just this episode, but others, with being able to understand others. We talk about walking other people's shoes, and I think this is a great outlet for that. And we certainly are blessed, and we certainly still have you in our prayers, brother.
I really appreciate that. Certainly do. Drew, I mean, do you have any kind of, or Amber too, for that matter, do you have any websites, any links, any things you got coming up that you want to put a plug in for?
If you want to check out what we're doing at Zion Missionary Church, people can do that. ZionMissionaryChurch.net. That's a place that they can go. They're certainly welcome to check us out on Facebook with some of the things that we're doing. If you go to Facebook and do hashtag Kuespert Corona Cooking, which you have to spell the name right because our name is spelled kind of goofy, but maybe somewhere you can put that in there somewhere on your.
I'll put it in at the end credits.
There you go. Yeah,
Great.
Kuespert Corona Cooking. You can see some of the videos that we've put together. She's put together, and I just love them. I'm the one that put them together, and I go back and I watch them later, and they're just so neat to see. And she's definitely an artist in the kitchen, that's for sure. And then also,
You just like food.
that's true. And then also on Monday nights, just on my personal Facebook page, but maybe I should have a separate page. I don't know. We'll think about it. Monday nights, I do Monday night karaoke, and it's just for fun. We just have a good time with it, and sometimes we get 15 or 20 people watching, and sometimes I'm the only one or we're the only ones on, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter. We're having a good time.
Hey, real quick.
Sure.
Speaking of karaoke, I know you are close with the karaoke kid.
I've seen him a few times. Yeah.
How bummed out was he when the news came out that Slamathon was canceled?
I talked to him. I had an opportunity to talk to him a little bit, and last year he was very, very upset because he felt like he didn't get his just desserts. He felt like everybody was out to get him. And I said, no, come on. You kind of put yourself out there. You said a lot of dumb stuff. And he said, oh, no, everyone's out to get me. The world's out to get me. He goes, I was trying to be nice. I went out of my way to be good to people. And what happens to me? I get hit in the face with a chair. I get slammed through a table. I get thrown over the top rope with the battle royal 5 seconds into the match. He goes, this just isn't right, man. He goes, next time I get in the ring, I am going to win, and I'm going to win big. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever you say. I guess we'll have to see. I'm not sure.
Hopefully we can make that happen here in the next few months or what have you.
Yeah.
Drew and Amber, thank you so much for taking time out to be on the show. I had a lot of fun just sitting back and actually just having a conversation and kind of seeing how you guys were being affected with the whole pandemic and the creative ways you're coming up with to overcome this challenge, because as they say, this too shall pass, right?
Yep.
So
We
Drew
appreciate
and Amber, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
And
Thank you.
no, the pleasure was all mine. And for the rest of you watching at home, we certainly appreciate your time as well. Check us out. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and get notified each and every week a new episode drops. I am Jason Klaus. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you next time right here on Klaus to the Heart.